Hi, welcome back to Roland Sports Podcast, starting Aaron Young. Once again, it's just me, Aaron. This is episode number 2. And in this episode, I will talk about the state of the Detroit Red Wings, Pistons, and Tigers. All three of these teams are in the middle of a rebuild phase. And as sports fans, it's hard to digest. As fans, it translates to our favorite team or teams will be losing some games for a while. And we're totally stuck with saying maybe we'll get them next year. It's hard to say that one of the 6 original teams in the National Hockey League is and has been in a rebuilding mode since 2015-16 season. For the people that may not know, the original 16 term came from 6 teams that played for 25 years from 1942 to 1967, which were Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs, Boston Bruins, New York Rangers, Chicago Blackhawks, and the Detroit Red Wings. The National Hockey League, NHL, was established in Montreal, Quebec on November 26, 1917. The original NHL hockey teams were Montreal Canadiens, Montreal Wanderers, Ottawa Senators, and Toronto Arenas, which later would be called the Toronto Maple Leafs and Quebec City. With the demise of the Western Canada Hockey League, the rights to the players of Victoria Cougars were purchased by a Detroit group led by Charles A. Hughes, who kept the name Cougars for the NHL club. The new team struggled financially in 1930. The Cougars changed their name to Detroit Falcons, and after being bought by James E. Norris, were named as the Detroit Red Wings in 1932. The team played their first game on November 18, 1926 and won their first 2 Stanley Cup titles in 1936 and 37. The Red Wings have won 11 times, more than any other American team in NHL history. As of 2020, the Red Wings have won the most Stanley Cup championships of any franchise based in the United States, and are 3rd overall in total Stanley Cup championships, behind Montreal Canadiens, who have 24, and Toronto Maple Leafs with 13. The Red Wings play their home games at Joe Louis Arena from 1979 to 2017. After playing for 2 years in the Olympic Stadium, they moved into the new Sears Arena beginning with the 2017 and 18 season. Fans and sports commentators refer to Detroit as Hockey Town, which has been registered trademark owned by the franchise since 1966. The Detroit Red Wings missed playoffs only 4 times between 1967 and 1983. The Red Wings made the playoffs only 2 times. However, from 1983 to 2016, they made the playoffs 30 times, 32 seasons, including a 25 straight stretch from 1990 to 2016, not including the canceled 2004 season. In 2006, this became the longest active streak of 12 seasons appearance in all of North America professional sports. Since 1983, the Reds have tallied 6 regular season first place finishes and then an 11-year span have won the Stanley Cup 4 times: 1997, 1998, 2002, and 2008. The 2016-17 Red Wings saw an ending of the making the playoffs for 25 straight seasons. Pavel Datsyuk no longer played with Detroit. And a year or so later, Henrik Zetterberg retired, which put an end to the championship caliber play of the Detroit Red Wings. And our organization now struggling to win consistently after 8 seasons with Tampa Bay Lightning from 2010 to 2018. Steve Yzerman resigned as general manager on September 11th, 2018. Then 7 months later, April 19, 2019, the captain returned to Detroit and was hired as Red Wings' new general manager and vice president. Steve Yzerman was able to change the Tampa Bay Lightning to have a championship caliber team year in, year out as 8 years there. But didn't have to do a complete rebuild like he has to do as the now Red Wings general manager vice president. In his first year as GM for Tampa Bay, they were in the Eastern Conference semifinals, and the year before, not even in the playoffs. I absolutely believe in Steve Yzerman's leadership and think he'll bring back the Red Wings back to Stanley Cup glory. The downfall, it looks like it's going to be 3 to 5 years of rebuilding to get the Red Wings there. However, on the plus side, Detroit is starting year 3 in that process. The Red Wings, 3 really good players, and Tyler Bertuzzi, enough of the retired hockey player Todd Bertuzzi, who also played for the Red Wings. Detroit, Michigan, homegrown and played college hockey at the University of Michigan. Dylan Larkin, and Detroit's 20th overall pick of 2013, Anthony Matthew. With these 3 guys, they just need a good supporting cast around them and that great goalie. I believe that Steve Yzerman will make the right moves to getting the supporting cast. Now, how about the state of Detroit basketball, aka Detroit Pistons? Yeah, it's pretty flat. Sad to say it. Since the trade on Monday, November 8th of 2008, sending point guard Chauncey Billups and power forward and Tony McDyess to the Denver Nuggets towards the end of his career. Allen Iverson. Iverson had 11 and a half great years as Philadelphia 76er and easily in the top 50 players of all time. His tough physical play wore his body down. Before he was in Detroit, Pistons easily scored 25 to 30 points per game. His only season in Detroit, he barely scored 8 points per game. The 2008 year of Iverson, the Pistons were swept in the first round of the playoffs by LeBron James' first go around Cleveland Cavaliers. Since then, Detroit made it to the playoffs only twice in a 12-year span. 2016 and 19 seasons. In 2016, Pistons finished the season at 44 and 38, an 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, and swept the first round of the playoffs by LeBron James' second go-around Cleveland Cavaliers. 2019, Pistons just made the playoffs with a 41 record. Got swept by God's Milwaukee Bucks. The Detroit Pistons had been up and down franchise that started in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They were founded as the Fort Wayne Solar Pistons, a National Basketball League NBL team owned by Fred Zollner. Zollner Corporation manufactured primarily for cars, trucks, and locomotive engines. The Pistons came NBL champions in 1944 and 45. In 1948, they were named the Fort Wayne Pistons and competed in the Basketball Association of America BBA. On his kitchen table, Fred Zollner worked out on the formation of the Basketball Association from a BBA and NBL. After the 1956-57 season, Zollner decided that Fort Wayne was too small to support an NBA team, and announced the team will be playing elsewhere in the upcoming season. He ultimately settled in Detroit. Zollner decided to keep this in the name, but even it made sense given Detroit's status as the center of the automobile industry. During the 1960s and 70s, the Pistons were characterized by very strong individuals, but with weak teams. In 1974, Zollner sold the team to glass magnate Bill Davidson, who remained the team's principal owner until his death in 2009. While the Pistons did not qualify post season in 4 straight seasons from 1974 to 1977, they never had any real substantial success. 1981 to 1981 Pistons, which referred as the Bad Boys era, was started by draft Indiana point guard Isaiah Thomas. In November 1981, the Pistons acquired Vinnie Johnson in a trade with the Seattle Supersonics. They later acquired center Bill Laimbeer in a trade with Cleveland Cavaliers in February 1982. Another key move by the Pistons was hiring of head coach Chuck Daly in 1984. Joe Dumars' 18th pick in the 1985 NBA draft. John Salley, 11th pick, and Dennis Rodman, 27th pick of the 1986 NBA draft. And they later would win in 89 and 90. Between 1992 and 94, Pistons were back into losing games. 94 and 2000 saw unspectacular wins with the gray hair era. 2000, Joe Dumars retired from playing basketball, then became the team's president of basketball operations. He quickly faced what appeared to be a setback for the franchise, as Grant Hill elected to leave for the Orlando Magic. Dumars worked a sign and trade with Orlando that brought the Pistons Ben Wallace and Chucky Atkins in exchange for Hill. On June 1st, 2011, Tom Gore's businessman, investor, and platinum equity became the owners of the Detroit Pistons. He will later become sole owner of the team in 2015. Since he has owned the Pistons, they have not done much as far as wins and barely cracked the playoffs. Gores has struggled to put the right GM that fits his plans. Hopefully, in the long term, Oklahoma City Thunder front office executive Troy Weaver, that was hired as the Pistons GM back in the June 18, 2020, can turn things around. Looking at today's Pistons roster, okay, they have Blake Griffin. I like Griffin and still think he's a decent player, but struggles to stay on the court. Also, he needs two other star players with much athleticism to complement his physical play inside the paint. He hasn't come close to gelling with the young players. In the games I forced myself to watch, Griffin hardly plays. And the three championship runs in the Pistons franchise history, 89-90 and 2004, there was a big three of stars on those teams that played great defense. 89-90, yeah, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, and Bill Laimbeer. To 2014, had Mr. Big Shots, Chauncey Bubba Billups, Richard Rip Hamilton, and Big Ben Wallace. Since 2008, there hasn't been a big three for the Detroit Pistons. And in the last 12 years, I have seen much defense. I get that today's NBA is more about spreading out your opponent across the 3-point line and shooting mostly jumpers or flashing to the rim for a quick basket. It seems that the Pistons leave big gaps on the defense more than any other NBA team, but are decent at rebounding. I have like what I've seen of Jeremy Grant, Josh Jackson, Wayne Ellington, and Isaiah Stewart. Let's get into the English D restoring the roar back in the Detroit Tigers. The oldest continuous one name, one city franchise in the American League. In 1901, they were established as a major league team. The Tigers had won 4 World Series championships in 1935, 1945, 1960, 8, and 1984. 11 ALL pennants, 1907 to 1909, 1934, 1935, 1940, 1945, 1968, 1984, 2006, 2012. I have 4 American Central Division titles from 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. They also won 4 division titles in 1972, 1984, 1987 as members of the American League East. 1901 to 2020, the Tigers overall are 9,369 wins to 9,226 losses, a winning percentage of .50 for the franchise. Best winning percentage was .656 in 1934, while its worst was .265 in 2003. In October 2005, Jim Leland was hired by the Tigers, placing Alan Trammell. Also that year, then general manager David Dabrowski signed closer Todd Jones, who spent 5 years in Detroit between 1997 and 2001. Signed a 2-year deal to return to the Tigers. Foreign left-hander Kenny Rogers also joined the Tigers from the Texas Rangers in late 2005. After many years of turning up losses, their 2006 season shows signs of hope. Impressive rookie campaign of eventually American League Rookie of the Year, Justin Verlander, my favorite, center fielder Curtis Granderson, and flamethrower relief pitcher Joel Samayo. Along with an early season, Leland talked the players Tigers quickly raced up to the top of the American League Central. A division title seemed inevitable. But wait a minute. It's Detroit, right? The Detroit Tigers all had to get one win the final 5 games of the season, which included the Tigers' 3 games against the Royals team that Detroit crushed most of the season. However, lost all 5 games to finish 95-67, and the division title went to the Minnesota Twins with a 96-66 record. Tigers instead settled for the American League wild card. 2006 through 2013, Jim Lingland came so close to delivering a World Series championship, but stepped from his managerial position after 8 years with the Tigers, with over 700 wins as manager. Tigers hired Brad Osmus to replace Leland, but only lasted 4 seasons. 4 seasons with a 314 to 332 with a .486 winning percentage. On October 20th, Tigers hired Ron Garden, the former Twins manager, to succeed Brad Osmus. Gardenhire was hired, knowing you have to develop young players. As the season went along, slugger Miguel Cabrera was lost to injury. Unexpected ace pitcher Michael Fulmer was an extensive stint on a disabled list. This led the team to a 64-98 record, the 5th worst record in Major League Baseball, but good for 3rd place in a very weak American League Central division that year. The 2019 season didn't get much better. It actually went backwards, just trading off players with big contracts to leave more cap room. Future struck with many injuries gave the Tigers a 47-114 record, their worst record in the Major League Baseball of that year. It marked their 2nd worst season in franchise history. And their worst was 43-119 record of 2003. With the 2020 season, everybody's life was changed. MLB temporarily suspended the season, shortened due to COVID-19 pandemic. In the middle of July, Major League Baseball put together, with no fans in the stadiums, a 60-game season. In the beginning of September, Tigers had a chance to make the playoffs, but it hit a slump, and then Ron Gardenhire, tired from baseball for health concerns, Tigers finished out of the playoffs with a 23-35 record, and their last 2 games were canceled. The Restoring the Roar has put a drop on attendance pre-COVID from just above 31,000 in 2016 went down to about 18,500 fans in 2019, nearly a 13,000 drop off. However, the young pitchers Casey, Myers, and Tariq Scoble got some major league experience. Also, young players got some experience like Des Cameron, Willie Castro, and Isaac Paredes, giving us Tigers fans some hope on having a good 2021 season. General manager Al Avila, right after the LA Dodgers defeated the Tampa Bay Rays in Game 6 to be World Series champions, got on the phone to AJ Hinch, who was suspended for a season due to being caught taking video of stealing the opposing team signs once the last pitch was thrown in the World Series suspension was over. AJ Hinch on Friday, October 30th, 2020 was hired by the Detroit Tigers. Also, Avila got some acquisitions during the offseason. Catcher Wilson Ramos, outfielder Nomar Mazara, outfielder Robert Grossman, and also minor deals with infielders Retro Nunez and Greg Garcia. Picked up pitchers Derek Holland and Jose Orna, plus re-signed Jonathan Scope. Here in a few months, we'll see what kind of team the Detroit Tigers will be. Hopefully includes a winning season that leads them into the playoffs. As far as the Red Wings and Pistons, I'll just go with maybe next year. This has been Rolling to Sports Podcast starting Aaron Young. I'm signing off on episode number 2. Bye for now, friends.